in this. Just want you. Not you and that. Just about you. Woo. God. Just want you. Oh, God. Hey. No mixture.
No mixture.
We just want you. We just want you. Not this and that, and that and this and you. We just want you. In the midst, speaking, just want you. Right relationship, we just want you. That's it. That's all. Just want you. That's all we want. We just want you. That's the cry of the body. Oh God, just want you. That's the cry of the bride to the bridegroom. We just want you. We just want you. Not looking for anything else. We want. We just want you. You. We just want you. You. Nothing else but you. We just want you. Not my title. Not my mantle. Not my call. We just want you. I just want you. We just want you. You're everything. If I seek ye first the kingdom of God, then all these other things. Seek first the kingdom. I just want you. I just want you. Just want you. I just want you. Just want you. My God. Cause I just want you. He's enough. We just want you. I just want you. Enough, God. We just want you. My God. You're enough. We just want you. Our hearts are not divided. We just want you. I just want you. Cause I just want you. We just want. Cause I just want you. You're everything. Just want. Cause I just want you. Oh God. Cause I just want you. Oh God. Cause I just want you. Cause I just want you. Oh God. Just want. Cause I just want you. Oh God, I just want. Cause I just want you. Oh God, I just want you. I just want you. Yes. I just want. Cause I just want you. Oh God, I just want. I just want you. We just want. Cause I just want. I can hear you saying my cry. Cause I just want you. I am shaking. I just want you. I just want you. I just want you. Come on, lift your hands just right there if you can.
I prophesy to this team, this community team now that Dominion is not moving forward. I want to speak that I understand why people hate you. Understand why you're not liked even among your own family. And I wish I could say I'm so sorry, but I cannot. Because the prophet in you was born, not made. And folk don't like prophets. So when you sing, you don't sing songs, you prophesy songs. And it makes hell mad. And every time you sing, I pray and cover you with oil because I know He's coming for you. Thank you for the years that you have trained me how to love the unlovable some days. How to forgive you when you did stuff that was just way out of line. When you weren't mature enough to know how to forgive. When you didn't know how to look at the issue larger than it was. But I want to thank you for sticking with me. Because greater days are coming. Greater days are coming. Because I know who you are. You're not Stacy and them kids. God confounds the wise with foolishness. What looks foolish to men, God will make wise. So I speak that over your life, the wisdom of God. Because you really do love Him, that's why I stuck with you. If you was playing and perpetrating a fraud, I would have left you a long time ago. But I know your heart is right towards Him, even when it hasn't been right towards your own self. So we speak strength. Strength to the prophesying psalmist, to the prophet psalmist. When everybody said, just leave her. Come on, let's go. I turned around and grabbed your hand and said, I need you to come up hither and get yourself together. Because they're going to hate you whether you do good or evil. Oh, shit, that take. Oh, they're not going to like you anyway. Oh, shit, they're not going to like you. So it don't matter, just keep your eyes towards the prize. Don't worry about it. Get tough skin. Renew your mind. Cause your belly to ache for truth and righteousness. And so shall you be filled. Because your sustenance is not in what people think about you. It's not in your past. It's in your future. Hunger for your future. The future is calling you. And it's not going to look like you thought. There will be some losses. Apostle can't keep it from you. But I promise you by the Spirit of truth that there will be more gain than loss. And your days are not over because stuff didn't go right. But I put my hand on your belly because your hunger must increase for righteousness. Because everything you desire is in righteousness, not in worldliness. Worldliness flaunts the riches, but it has no wealth. But what God promised Jasmine, is wealth. The wealth of the Spirit, the wealth of life, the wealth of leadership. I have not mixed my words. You are called to lead. But because you see yourself like they see you. Struggle with that from 7. They keep saying, this is who you are. You saying, no, I ain't. You still got to say, no, I ain't. Because they can't see past what they know. But God has called you higher. Higher. I just want him. I put my hands on your belly because I was pressing into your hunger. Because sometimes we sing a thing until we live a thing. Folks say, Apostle, why you let folks sing? Because they have to sing until they live it. I know I'm ridiculed for a lot of things, but that's one of them. I see people's future, not their past. I see where God is taking them, not where they are right now. So sing, Jazz. Sing of his goodness. Sing of his glory. Sing of his power. Sing of his truth. And the more you sing, the more that thing will cause a Cinderella thing to come on you. You won't turn into a pumpkin. He got greater for you. You lost your shoes, but he got shoes. Come on here. He got shoes for you. Oh, why do you need minstrels? Because you're apostolic. The apostolic has too much hatred not to open realms. Because when we minister unto the Lord, every demon that was assigned to your life has to back up off you. Oh, y'all don't like it, but I don't care. I ain't talking to nobody in the room. I'm talking to the heavenlies. I'm talking to the demonic. I know you don't like it, but I'm here to tell you I don't care. Briante, there's been many mistakes. If you could list them on a paper, you probably would come up with a whole lot of them. But here's what God knows. He knows that you are the questioning one until you get an answer. People may say thing, do a thing, but you always look. Let me see what that's about. God, what's that? Most people go into things blind because they have feelings. But the Lord designed you differently. Your difference was a problem until you matured. My difference is I want to be like everybody. God said you're not like them. So when you question a matter, you're really in your God realm. Because he needs you to do what he created you to do. And that's to investigate and question everything until the answer is clear. That way, you will always move with heavy feet. Heavy feet. You won't slip and slide. You won't miss your turn. You won't run into the stop sign. You won't crash into the next person. You're going to be solid in your feet. Because the way your brain works, that's how your feet will move. That ain't right. Back off. Some things you even wanted. God, your emotions were pulling you, but you're not a woman of emotions. Why is that? Because God made you a brainiac. Made you a brainiac. So you could ask the right questions and then know when to pull out. Because if I don't pull out now, this thing gonna destroy me. That's why God has loved you so much, because you know when to make a turn. Everybody makes a mistake. Anybody here never made a mistake? Oh, we all make mistakes. But you know how to say, God, I ain't gonna do that again. Most people make 13 of the same thing. You say one time, that's it. That's all. Excuse me, but that's all that nigga get. One time. And then I'm out. Because in your belly, God put a seed of desire for more. And we have not seen in this region what God is going to do with Briante. How you're going to move up ladders and come into heights and then go back down and get some people and come up and rebuild and establish. They don't know you because they look at the outward. But God looks at the heart. I love your heart. And I love your brain more, because your brain is what keeps you sane and safe. bless you. I touch you. I gotta touch you. Greater, greater, greater success than her wildest imaginations. Greater, greater success than she has ever seen or known in her family. Greater, greater success. Woo. Inheritance for generations. Greater, greater success. Because she questions everything, investigates everything, oh God. And therein is your place in the midst of her. I want to thank the Lord for sending when we needed a keyboard person. I want to thank the Lord for sending Aaron. He came into my office one day and he just said, I'll come whenever you call. Whatever you need, Apostle, I'll be there. I'm so grateful to the mantle of ministry that he does without price. I know y'all hear me. People do music with price. It's not just minstrel, it's minstrel plus price. But he leaves off price. That's why God is going to continually enlarge his gate. So I'm talking to you. He's going to enlarge your ministry gate because you did not put a plus and a price to the minstrel. You say whatever. That's why whenever you come, it's important that we support you, because most come with a ticket. You got to pay the ticket to get the sound. But that's not you. You give the sound and say whatever you want to do. So I'm going to pray that your fingers and your name would be known. Renown. The word is renown, not fame. Fame is not in the scripture, but renown is. God said he will give you renown. Renown among all of those that move in gifts and callings and sound. Your name and your fingers. Somebody say name and fingers. Name and fingers will be renowned. Know your name, know your sound, know your name, know your sound, know your name, know your sound, renown. I say renown. Renown. Over you, I speak it. I speak it. Renown. I say renown. Renown. Oh God, from the north, south, east, and west, renown. Among the industry, among the churches, among the marketplace, among high, lofty rooms, renown, 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 renown among your name, renown among your sound, renown among your name, renown among your sound. Be blessed, my son. Be blessed, my son. Minstrel without price produces an equal called renown. Minstrel plus price equals minstrel minus price equals renown. Can y'all do the math? Do the math. That's what it will be. I love you. Appreciate you. Well, you all can take your seats. I thank the Lord for this space. I think Pastor William needs a mic. Where is your mic? Hallelujah.
Testing.
Of course, we didn't know what this night would be like, but what we understood was that we needed to show up. Sometimes you just have to show up. Can't do that. And be available to answer the hard questions and to speak forthrightly from the heart. This is what makes leadership separate than managers. Anybody can manage, but can you lead? Because leadership comes with deep wounds, of which I can show you in my body how many there are. So many. 40 years plus, 42 in October, of ministry, lashes, stomps, betrayals, scandals. Those that say one thing, do another, all that, but they're just scars now. And I am rejoicing that we outlive our enemies, our detractors. We outlive things in the apostolic, even though it comes to wound and hurt. We give glory to the Lamb that was slain. And we model our lives after that. The Lamb that was slain. What? Many times in ministry you feel like that. You want to roar and be a lion. But most days you're just a lamb. Slain, brought to the slaughter. Most days you lose more than you gain, but in the end, which the end is not yet in some things, and yet it is in others. So we wanted to come, Pastor William and I, just to thank you for your entrustment, for the days in which you stood and believed, and the days that you questioned and got angry and walked. And thank you for all of that, because all of that helped us, made us think through with processes. It made us wonder how to do it better, to believe for the more. And so we are here tonight to share a little bit about where we're going. You know where we've been, because most of you have been with us. So we've had good times. Oh my goodness, so many good times. And then we've had really sad times where it just... My seminary professors used to say, "What's wrong with you?" What do you mean? Why do you think everybody gonna be unified? What makes you think there's nothing in the scriptures that's telling us? I said, yes, it is in the scripture. You think people gonna get along? Yes, I believe it. Well, you'll see. And of course, we don't always get along. But in my heart, I still believe it. I still see this wonderful day when we will not be divided by issues and elements and discord. I just believe it. I'm a little bit idealistic in that, but I see in the end in Revelations when John is on the Isle of Patmos that there are these 7 churches that are screwed up and crazy. But by chapter 21, by the end of the chapters, you see this beautiful bride, this enormous organism rising. I believe for that. Maybe not locally, maybe not even globally, but I believe it eternally. So I want to have Pastor William come up, lest I get into too much splice of life. He'd be rolling his eyes at me. And give him a chance to greet you and speak to you.
Hey guys, so blessed and thankful for those who came out tonight and those who are listening and watching online. This has been an incredible journey, and as I heard Apostle, share about, the rugged way of the cross. Basically, that's what she was talking about. That if you're going to do this thing for Christ, there's going to be some bumps in the road. And if they're not, you got to question which road you're on. Quite frankly, if life has all been peaches and cream, and ain't been no mold on the side of you, then you have to really question whether or not you're walking with the one true and living God. Because he's like a schoolmaster who's going to throw tests at you every now and again, sometimes surprise quizzes, to not to make you feel bad because you may not have scored good, but give you an idea where you are. How many of you want to know where you really are as it relates to your relationship with Christ? You know, there's so many people who try to fake it, who try to live in this facade of Christianity. But real, authentic Christianity is not only a trial, but it's also so much joy. Over these past years, as leaders here at Dominion, I remember I read, just digress just a moment, I was reading a book, and I can't remember who was, I think it was Chuck Swindoll, and he was talking about leadership, and he was saying that leadership is a very lonely place because sometimes you have to make hard decisions that don't always get the majority rule, if you will, and but that's okay. And so we've had to do that over the years. I was reflecting when I was sitting there when Dominion first started, and some of you may remember, but others may have not have heard this story, but it was 5 of us, and we started Dominion, and what the Lord laid on our hearts to do was to bring music, a professional musician, to the Calvin County. And it seemed to be impossible. You know, how in the world are these 5 people going to bring Ty Tribbett to lonely old Calvin County? But we put our heads together, everybody took a part, everybody took ownership of that charge. And lo and behold, we were able to successfully bring him to Calvin County, and that launched our ministry at Dominion. How many got saved that night? How many do you recall? 200, mostly young people, running to the stage, crying out for the Lord. And that's set off as a stepping stone into our the birth of Dominion International Ministries. We started out in my home over on Smoky Road many years ago. The only one here who was a part of that original group is Pastor Stephanie. No, not that came to the ministry. I mean, when we first got formalized. First, it was the first 5. It was it 7? I thought it was 5. It was 5. Donna Johnson, Pastor Stephanie, myself, Apostle Yolanda, and was it Lynn? And my sister Lynn. Those were the 5 who started out with but over the years we saw growth. Some of you may have been with us when we were on Cheneyville Road. We were there for several years before we came into this abode, and was thinking about that. We've been here almost 8 years. Jeez, where did the time go? But it's been an incredible journey. As most of you know, I just feel the Lord has moved me in a different direction. I'm retiring either at the end of this year or at the very beginning of next year. My wife and I have embarked on a real estate investing opportunity that we're going to be pursuing over the next few months. And there's a possibility that we may leave this area. We have to see what the Lord says. But I just want to express with the deepest part of my heart just how much all of you have departed in my life over these past years. It's incredible. I've learned a lot from a lot of you, and hopefully you've learned a lot from me. It's been real, but we could not have done it without you guys. I know that sometimes we put unreasonable demands on some of you to do things or to step out in faith, and for the most part, you came through. Amen. So I just want you guys to know how much we love you. I love you, and I know that goes without saying with Apostle, but we wanted to take this time, this Wednesday evening, to just express to you all how we feel about you all. And then on Sunday, the 23rd of July, there will be an opportunity for you to do the same. I was telling my wife last week before we went out of town, I was going through some old pictures. Got about 4,000 pictures from over the years. And so we're going to go through those and pick out some of the favorites, if you will, and just share it with you guys when we come together on the 23rd. It should be a lot of fun, very exciting. So that's all I wanted to share.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So what would have been one of the highlights of your years? Anything come to mind that really stands out as a highlight for being a senior leader here at Dominion? And then on the contrary, one of your lows, one of your low times.
One of my highlights is we had a ministry time at what's Minister Roberts' brother's name? Remember his wife, Keith Goodman, and his wife. We had gone over there for a fellowship time. Was that all day, all night? I don't even remember. Yeah, we went over there for a retreat, and oh my God, and we had a deliverance time during that time. And I can remember saying, I ain't putting me through all this. No. Ah! Before I knew it, I was on the floor squirming. And Deacon Larry, oh my gosh. Deacon Larry was laid out like a pancake on the floor. And all of us were crying. We had, did we stay overnight or was it just, we spent the night over their house. I remember us having breakfast the next morning. And it was just such a rich time of just sharing and fellowship. That was definitely one of my highs that I recall during our ministry time. Another one, I can't forget this one, is when we baptized in North Beach. That was a great time. Oh my gosh. And I can't remember who it was, but boy, she did not want to get in that water. Do you? Who? Briante. Well, and then folk were giving us instructions on how we should dunk them. You know, you heard all that. I don't want to get my hair wet, all of this kind of stuff. But that was definitely a high, and just to see how God. But we got there, I think it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, out on the beach, and got in the water, and I think it might have been about 20 people, wasn't it? It was a lot. It was a large crowd of us who had come out that day. Okay, now she's asking me for the lows. It's always hard when diplomats leave Dominion and don't leave through proper protocol. As all of you know who were planning here in Dominion, we kind of give the word picture of a garden, and that you all are being planted in the soil of Dominion. Whereas you know that when plants grow, it's a shock to the system when they're just snatched up out the ground. Sometimes the roots break off. It doesn't break off cleanly. Part of the roots are still in the ground, and the flower itself begins to die because it doesn't have the nourishment that it would have had. Those have been the hard times, I don't like calling out names, but the Goodmans, when they left, that was a really, really, really hard time for us. When they decided to leave, they didn't really give us any indication why they left. We gotta, how did we find out? It was crazy. It was just crazy. And so, those questions, those unanswered questions that we have with respect to why what motivates people to do that, may not get answered till we get to heaven. And but I see it, I see it as a hurtful because of my humanity. But at the same time, I see it as an opportunity for it to be stretched. Because even in the midst of what appears to be hurtful and painful, you still have to forgive. You still have to do everything you can to try to reconcile the relationship with those who left. And we've done that. I remember one time this one couple left. I won't mention their names. And Yolanda and I went to their house one evening. Went to their house because they wouldn't answer the phone. They wouldn't answer the phone, and they wouldn't respond to texts. We went to their home, knocked on their door. We could hear them moving around in there. They would not open the door, would not come to the door. That was very hurtful. But God uses those things to see where we are in terms of our own maturity as leaders. Paul experienced that on many occasions. Joseph experienced that people turned their backs on him. Those he tried to help out in prison, forgot about him. I could see how that could lead to a root of bitterness. But you guys know, we did the bait of Satan on several occasions here.
Yes.
Because we know that Jesus said that it's impossible to go through this life without an offense. It's just absolutely impossible. And so knowing that on the front end, we just need to know as believers how to respond to the offenses that come about. And God gives us a prescription. He lays it out. If you can't reconcile with that person, bring a witness with you. And if you still can't bring it before your church leaders. And there's a whole progression in terms of how you should go about trying to reconcile, because that's what the Bible, I believe, is all about: reconciliation, bringing us back to Him, and bringing us back to each other. Amen. So those would be my pain points, honey.
Wonderful, thank you. I'll give Pastor William a hand. That was excellent. I wanted to spend about 3 minutes talking, and then I want to give opportunity for you all, after we shared our pieces, for you all to share or question or give feedback. We have 3 pillars that will kind of give you an understanding of why we have made the decisions that we've made and why we're here saying goodbye at this time. And then I'm going to tell you a little story about some things, and I might do something crazy if you keep playing, so I'm gonna say, because what happens is I get into a realm in prophetics. I need to finish what I need to do without going too far too fast. So I'm going to ask Aaron to, that's good. We have 3 pillars or 3 elements that God gave us for dominion over the years. And probably the first one is what Pastor William was talking about, and it is personal deliverance. And personal deliverance was, everybody needs deliverance. Everybody, so much so that we would do spring and fall cleaning in the house. And, we used to have club deliverance and all of these areas, because deliverance was so critical to part of the instruction of how do you have dominion. And so that has been our first principle. You come in the door, you need deliverance. And there were so many pieces over the years that God began to give us for how to do deliverance and bring deliverance, but that was our number 1 pillar. And so kind of resistant to that was when people would come and they were, sometimes too intelligent for that, or that was they would stay a little bit and be like, oh no, we're not doing all of that. So we attracted people until that first prong is looked at, because it's just so offensive, because most Christians believe I'm good. I have Jesus. He saved my soul. He got me, I'm spiritually fine. So why do I need deliverance? But what we taught over the years was that deliverance was a hook in the brain and the soul, that if we don't address issues in our lives, then the enemy gets that foothold, and he after a while establishes a stronghold. And so even though you're the best Christian, you're the best this, you're the best believer, you're the best tither, you're the best giver, we all have what my spiritual mother called J&T, which was junk and trash. And so just like daily sweating, or your hair getting too much oil, or different things in all of your private spaces, you get to wash. And so as it is in the natural, so is it in the spirit. And so we have to watch thinking I'm okay, because we're not okay. We are eternally well, but we're not okay. And when I say well, Jesus sets us free from the spirit of the enemy, but we have responsibility to work out our soul salvation with fear and trembling. That's our responsibility, the Bible tells us. And so deliverance was a part of that. And so that was part of who we are and what we do and how we were designed. The second thing was corporate prophetic, which is also critical, because the prophetic is the one way in which we create atmosphere. Because it's so important to know that this is about, as the team sang, the community team sang today, it is about him. It is about the Lord. So when the prophetic is spoken or sang or uttered in a service, it recalibrates our brain. It recalibrates our thinking. Wherever we're stinking in our thinking, whether we're tired in our body, wherever we are upset with this one or that one, praise and worship, prophetic in that corporate environment, creates and brings us all into some space where we have to see him. And so it's important that we have corporate prophetic, because now we all get to be a company of those that speak things that are not so now, but that shall be. And so that part of who Dominion was over the years was part of trying to recalibrate our naturalness, our humanness, our angry, our upset, our doubts, our tiredness, our weariness, whatever we were experiencing when we came through that door. It was important to create a corporate prophetic where we would sing the song of the Lord, where we would declare to one another the good word of the Lord, and almost like would be almost like a calling things into existence that were not. And so that's part of why we have done that, and over the years. And then the final thing, which you've seen happen a lot, is the third one is apostolic sending and release. So we've done that. We had many come through, and now they're gone on, and we've blessed them, and they've started their work or started their ministry, or they've taken on new assignments. And it's our position to always bless and send apostolically with blessings. I mean, that is just hugely critical. And so now some have said, well, Apostle, why couldn't you just keep Dominion going and just let Apostle Will and others come and take it? But I have a reason for that. I want to share that with you, and it has to do with my own inability to hear specifically what God was telling me about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And it was my spiritual mother, and I've shared this with the elders, and I'm not sure with the deacons, maybe a few of them. But my spiritual mother told me, you cannot keep the house of Dominion and do what God's called you to do. It was a hard word. I was like, what do you mean? How does this work? And she was like, you can't do it because you're global. You're a global apostle, and the local church is too fragile and too sensitive. And people just won't be able to keep up with you, and it won't be well. They will see you here, and then they won't see you, or they'll put you up here, and then when you make one little mistake, they're going to completely, be against you. She just gave me all these warnings, and I said, "Bless her, Mom, this is just so hard." And we were like right in our heyday, like it was so many good things happening. And so I was like, "Well, just give me more time. Just give me some more time, and see how we can do this and do that." And she said, "If you are indeed Dominion, a training and development, an embassy of training and development for kings and priests, then you should not be a local church. You should not have this, and this." And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to see how to change this around and do this. And then life happened and things happened. And I never took her advice, not her advice as a mother spiritually to me, but as a prophet. And it has been one of the most painful things, because she passed this year, to realize that when I was asking her for more time, I was like, Hezekiah, like, I need more time. Like, give me some more time. And of course, that time was granted to me. But by the time she passed away, the reality of not having done what she said to me, not really transitioning Dominion into a full training and development entity as opposed to a church, was a huge and painful reality for me. I just wept and cried and thought, Lord, this is just probably the worst thing that I could have done. Not just because it didn't do what Mom said, but because you put other people in jeopardy. So some of the schisms that we've lived with, some of those hard days in life, I believe I take to my heart. I take to my disobedience. I take to the reality that when the prophet spoke, I did not listen and I did not obey. And so part of why I did not extend, as I thought I would, dominion to Apostle Will, was because I would not be found guilty of being disobedient to this house and to the Lord, and then give him something that wasn't right. It just wouldn't have been right. And so at the same time, he and his new wife, Beverly, were thinking about their own things and what they wanted to do. So God literally was putting us together in the reality that you don't give away something that's not right, right? David said, I would not give the Lord something that didn't cost me. And so it's the same in this principle. You don't give away something that you have not done well with and say, well, here, you take it. You give them the opportunity to reset and do what they need to do in a way that is honorable. So he will be doing his piece, and we are supporting him in that. But Dominion must have its closure so that we can restart and rebuild, I believe, something the way it was supposed to be, online, as a training, as corporate, development, as universal global development, something where people can access what we've learned and what we've done over the years, so how we do deliverance, how we do prophetic, how we do apostolic, so that even though we did not thrive in terms of numbers, we still have quality in what God gave us, and that's enough to keep it going. Lun Lun, shh. Is that you, or who is that? I can't see on my glasses on. Oh, that's Maya. Maya, please. And so it became critical for me to shift this as an offering to the Lord. God, I apologize. Lord, I'm sorry. God, here, let me make this right and do with what you gave Pastor William and I and these 5 people when you called it Dominion and said be an embassy of training and development. Let me put this in a state and position and posture that people can still be trained and be developed. And so that's what we are planning to do with Dominion, is have that entity uploaded online. We have a whole training on leadership and all of the pieces, and we don't want that to just go to naught. So we'll be putting all of that up and just really doing what we probably should have done at least 4 or 5 years ago, and make that right. So that way we're able to, we're able to do the corporate, we're able to do the sending and release with Apostle Will, and yet keep things moving with Dominion and its heritage and its legacy of training and development, and therefore we get it done. We get it done well. So that is was something I wanted to say to all of you. I want to say it clear. But that is why, because people have said, well, why would you just not do this? Why did you say it this way and then didn't do it? Or why is it shifting and changing? But it shifted and changed with great reason and great humility and great, forgiveness before the Lord. And so that's why we are doing it this way. And so we're excited that we kind of get two things out of one as opposed to one thing done. So that would be the main thing that we wanted to say. We want to open up for questions, and then we have some prophetic pieces we do want you to play again, because I want to speak into some of your lives and speak. But here's the mic. Where's do you have a stand, or does this have, or do you have to run around? Okay, well, Prophet Stephanie, I want you to be first. What you got to say? You've been here the longest. We'll give you your seniority and let you ask questions or give feedback or do whatever.
I actually don't know if I have any questions. I've had the opportunity to hear from Apostle and Pastor, and so I was clear about what was happening. The only thing that I would say is that I remember my very first message, and the title was, "Will You Run With Me?" And I'm just so thankful to Dominion for giving me that opportunity. I always tell the story about how I could not tolerate standing in front of people and talking and doing anything. And so Dominion really has been a place of training and development, although we had the church model type of constructs we started at 11 and we had what we did in terms of the praise and worship, and it looked that way. But deeply, as I thought about it, there was always training and development. And so the best training and development is when you don't realize you're being trained and developed. Because if you knew you were being trained and developed, you would push back on it. You wouldn't embrace it. You would mess it up some kind of way. And so I want to submit that it did happen. It just didn't happen in the way that we thought. And when I think about dominion and the apostolic sending and releasing, that is for individuals, that is for the entire embassy. Because as everyone is doing whatever God has next for them, your training and development and all the time that you spent here, you will see it manifest in a way once you cross that door. And I've seen that for myself. And so I want to encourage Pastor William and Apostle that it did not fall to the ground, that nothing was not happening, that yes, people left, and yes, we missed them. And yes, there were the highs and the lows and the what in the world, and why are you driving so far, and why are you staying so long? But there's rich soil in this place. And I would tell anybody, as misfits as we could be, as a ragtag group as we could be, as disorganized as we could be sometimes, I honestly believe you won't find a better people. You won't find a group that's more committed. You won't find a group that'll sit here till 1 a.m. in the morning making sure you walk out free. You'll be hard-pressed to find that. And so I thank you, because I'm able to do things because of the training and development that I receive that makes me a better person. They may not ever call me prophet, elder, pastor, anything, but just as a woman of God, I am a better woman of God in the earth because of what I've learned here. And so the training and development, whether you see it on a daily or however it shows up in your life, this time at Dominion has been like no other. for me. And so I thank you.
Give her a hand. Be great. All right, let's give that mic to somebody. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who gets this mic? I'm gonna sit down before I fall down.
Mm, um, I too don't have any uh, questions. I've had an opportunity to also speak with Pastor William and Apostle, and so I'm excited to see what happens. I also can foot stomp on most of what Prophet Stephanie said in terms of the training and development that I've gotten since I've been here. This is definitely a house where it's on the job training and development. It's not scheduled. I mean, we have had scheduled times, but most of the time it was jump right in. There was no respect of person. You could get trained right in the middle of service. Stay right there. Now pray over that. Now do this. Now do that. And I definitely find myself doing the same things. Like what was put and deposited in us over the years is definitely being reproduced. And I'm pretty sure I can speak for everyone in here to say that what you have garnered, what you have learned, what you have been taught and trained and developed in, you are using every day, even if you're not in an organized room or, in these four walls. So much I have gotten from probably everyone in here. I have learned something. I've had relationship with, I've had conversations with, I've had times when you street with me and Prophet Stephanie getting something to eat or just sitting in her apartment talking and things like that. So it's bittersweet. I was just saying to Brianna, we were talking about it because of the many years that we've been here. So I'm like, wow, there's not going to be a 9500 anymore we can come to or a Cheneyville Road. But I'm excited because I see everyone venturing out. There's so many different the sendings that have already occurred. So literally the mandate that has been over this house is already happening. I'm doing deliverances in my living room. I don't have to be here for club deliverance. Deliverance will happen on the phone or on Zoom when we're on the chat box or what have you. So these tools can only be sharpened even the more, and we can sharpen others. So I'm excited.
So are we doing it here, huh? It's gangster style, is it? The gangster recruiting style. No questions, comments. Pretty much like what has already been said is that the explanation makes sense, and I don't see dominion as the doors closing, but more there's an opening that will take you outside of these four walls and into your place of ministry. And your place of ministry may never be behind a sacred desk, aka, but every place you tread your feet is your sacred desk. And we learned that here at Dominion. We learned how to, even the simplest thing, because if the babies didn't go around here sweeping the floor, if they didn't learn it from Mondora or Mama Charlene. So everything that we have been able to garner and get in this place can be transformed into the gifts that God has for the kingdom. So even hearing Apostle prophetically speak over young people and say, don't despise the days of the small beginnings, or think about what someone else thinks about you is what God says about you. And it's understanding that. And even from our babies, watching how they learned praise and worship in the womb, and seeing them even fellowshipping here tonight, like a little apostolic children. But the best thing that I can say is from the training and development, you haven't seen, you or Pastor William and those have, and everyone, as I concur with Deacon Stacy, we've all poured into each other in one way or another. Sometimes it might have been around a table with a curt voice, but we've all poured into one another, and we've grown and we've been sharpened by the process and by the experience. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to have served, but I'm also grateful to see all of the ministry, each and every one, all the way down to the babies, that will be taking place on the other side. And I believe that's the legacy that will be attributed to all of the pain, all of the suffering, all of the wounds, because you'll be in heaven and God will be showing you this one, that one, this one, that one. Nope, that one didn't come back and say thank you, but they went on with that lesson that you taught them. So I'm grateful. I can't say goodbye and do goodbye and do, we all will see each other in the places where we're assigned to be. Amen. And since it's dropping, Mike.
Oh, I was driving here and there were two words, Apostle. I was thinking about. One was separation, and the other one was division. Separation and division, and toying with it, It was like, in my father's house, there are many rooms. And even though dominion, this physical space, there's more room out there for us to go. The separation meant that the disciples dispersed as we are dispersing and not going our own way. But I think that we can rest assured with the guidance and the support from one another wherever we go. And this is what I think you and Pastor for the division is that as we are going, I know as a leader you had no favorites. And I know as a leader what you poured into us, and as we go our merry way, not astray, you poured equal love, equal mercy, equal grace. You had an equal ear for all of us. And the thing is, the rest of it is our part of how much is it that we received. And that's going to make the difference, is that each one of us are going to have our own experiences based upon what we have received and what we continue to allow ourselves to understand. So again, I thank you, all of you. I've gained a lot. I've gained family that I didn't know about. I've gained a wife from here. I got married here. I sat on the floor here. And again, I thank all of you. I'm not going to thank you for giving me the mic yet. Now, who can I get?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank and honor God. I know that sent me here because he gave it to me when I went to California in 2016. And even though I dragged myself to come through here, when I got here, I know this is where I was to be because I can still see myself standing right in that corner and embracing Apostle and saying, welcome home, daughter. We've been waiting for you. So I know, and I thank God And as Deacon Rodney said too, I gained a family, a great, beautiful family. With strong love, open arms that accept me for me. And as we all said that, each person in here has touched me. I know for a fact, and I thank God for that. I thank God for the spiritual growth that He has given me over the years. I can remember even when Prophet Stephanie, I had said, call me. She said, we don't call around here, we text and email. I said, oh, really? But I did it. I did it, and I utmost enjoyed the traveling piece with Apostle. And that certainly was deep training and development. So I thank God for that. But I know that the new that is coming, God already had placed it in the future for us. It's not nothing new to God. It's not even anything new to us because He is using us. He's already been using us. I know that for a fact. And for me, I said on assignments. I always have assignments. And everywhere that He places me on the assignment, He does not move me until the assignment is finished. So I thank God for what He's getting ready to do with the new that Apostle Wills that is going to give us. But there is a deep legacy down in each and every one of us that we carry inside of us. And it has not died because we have not died. And it will carry through till when Jesus was on the cross and said, it is finished, when He's finished with us. So I thank you and I love y'all.
Yes, I'm coming. This is absolutely bitter and sweet. You said something when you spoke to Prophet Stacy. The God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. And for some, dominion has looked foolish all 17 years. But the wisdom of God was making space and tilling the soil for the misfits to be planted and to then be nourished and nurtured to bud, bloom, and blossom. And I'm so grateful that I'm one of those. When I met you, Apostle, it was up at a summit. And I was getting ready to retire, planning to go to North Carolina, but there was an encounter, a 3V encounter, and I heard that I had value, volume, and voice. And it literally shifted the dynamics inside of me. And I didn't know to what extent, just in meeting you and Sharnice at the time. And then when I got to Dominion, it was like, oh, this is it. But I didn't yet understand that. And truth is, it was a fight to stay here sometimes. It was a real fight to stay because warfare was going all around. But I remember sitting here and locking my legs as I sat down. Because see, it's something about crossing your legs. When you uncross, you have to do a movement and then get up. So as long as I was crossed, I had to really think and then think again. And one Sunday you said, you looked at me and you heard, she settled. So it was a wrestling with self and a wrestling with you all, if I can be honest.
but it was iron sharpening iron. And you all were contending with me for what was in me, and I didn't understand it. And I was fighting because y'all was making me mad. And I felt some things, but wrapped around it, it was a love and a, if I have to upset you to deliver you, because that's what was going on too. And I believe I was instrumental in helping others get delivered too. But I didn't know all of the junk that was inside of me when I got here. But I found parents in the Lord, and I didn't have that. And I found sisters and brothers that, even when they didn't like me, loved me. You know, and when I didn't like y'all, I loved y'all still. And it helped me look and say, they I. And I remember a couple of things in particular. One was when I was ordained as a deacon in this house. And Apostle said to me that I would never be stripped of that again, because from a previous ministry, it was stripped. It was suspended until further notice, which was a stain on me going someplace else, because I would not have been going in good standing. So I had church hurt, a lot of church hurt. So that was one of the issues with you all in here, because some of it felt familiar. But I thank God that he had me cross my legs and rock through some things and drive through some things. And one night I was touched in here and I slid to the floor, and I left in my car, and I was 2 exits past my exit before I realized where I was. And thank God for GPS, because I didn't know where I was. In Beltsville. And I don't know Beltsville. But that night, and I remember talking to Apostle about it, and I said, sometimes a child just want mama to touch him. Don't nobody else touch me, just mama. But that was still a part of the wrestling and the struggling to stay too. And the other thing was, in the midst of COVID, when I had the heart valve replacement procedure and I flatlined, and how you all, weekend after weekend, brought food and you took care of me. And you all did stuff that my natural family did not do. Some did, but you all made sure that I not only did I have food, but y'all asked me what I wanted. Oh, and that was so sweet, you know, because it said that I was loved and I was cared for, and I was in the midst of an apostolic prophetic family, an embassy of king priest. So the training and development, because you taught us to be hospitable, even when we was dog tired. We called it ministry, but then sometimes it felt like misery too, right? Because it was like, I ain't got nothing left. But your legacy and the planting and the watering that you've done over these 17 years, and as you continue to make space for those of us that just needed somewhere to belong, not knowing how badly we needed that. Because when I came in here, I needed a place to belong. But because of hurt and things, I can engage with you and still be disengaged. And I remember when you preached about surmising, that literally changed some things for me, you know, because I was doing that too, because it felt familiar, right? So I was prepared for the uppercut a lot of times, but I was trained to put my fist down, to put my thoughts down, to put my ego down as well and to just embrace and be embraced and to take up my cross inside of Dominion and follow God as I follow my leaders who are following God. So your training and development, again, it looked foolish, but it was wisdom all underneath. And we didn't know everything that was happening. But as Prophet Stacy said, and Prophet Stephanie said, and everybody has said, we're different now because of our journey through and our encounters inside of Dominion. So I want to thank you all. Where you're going, it's going to be beautiful. Where we are going, it's going to be beautiful too. So it's a win-win for everybody. And as you said, there is an archive of teaching and training and development that we can go back and look at and say, oh, I remember that. And I remember that. So the 1,000 generation, as long as there's a YouTube and a place to search and find it, it still lives. And it will bless folk because the anointing that's been in this room, that slain me and countless others, when you listen to it, it's as if you were in that very moment. So it lives and it continues. And as we've said, as we are released to go to the various places that we go and to do the things that we do, we're yet anchored in the will of God, in the place of God, in the love of God. Miss Maggie.
Hi. I I have countless of memories of Dominion. My mom was one of the 5 that first came to Dominion. I just remember being really young and like, where are we? Like, we're in this little house. There's like 5 people in here. But little did we know it was going to be something big. As Pastor Willem was talking about, just countless of memories of Thai trippet and dancing and being baptized. I still have my certificate in my room. And part of the low was being stripped from Dominion, although we didn't really get a reason why my mom left. But God, he brought me back. And I remember I was working night shift and I hadn't been fellowshipping at any church or anything. And I prayed and I was like, if you can take me back to a place where I could worship you and open a door where I could get a different job, I'll go. And I didn't know where he was going to tell me where to go. And then he started showing me dreams. And I was like, Dominion? Of course I'll go to Dominion. As you guys know, Pastor William and Apostle are just the sweetest people. And I'm definitely a seed that was planted. And I had to come back to my roots. And I think God knew that because I learned a lot then. And then when I came back, I learned a lot here as I came back and being in adulthood. Being in the apostolic at a young age, you understand some things, but it's so much more when you become an adult and you learn. It just magnifies. You're like, oh, okay. I remember hearing that then, and that just makes sense as an adult. So I just thank you both for just planting and then watering me. Even there was a huge, 10-year some gap. I knew I knew who they were, and I was glad that God placed them to show me that this is where I need to be back. And even still dreams now where God has taken you guys, I'm excited. I'm super excited. I remember telling Apostle that God had showed me a dream where I was in a car, or I was FaceTiming Apostle, and she was in a car with Pastor William, and I was like, hey, I want to come see you guys. And she was like, oh, just go to the house. We'll be there in a moment. And as I was driving through the neighborhood, I realized I was surrounded by castles, like extravagant, huge, large castles. And I remember going through the neighborhood, going through a roundabout, and theirs was in the back, and it was huge. And that just represents all of the years they have put in, that they will be blessed as they end Dominion now, that their time for rest is here. Their time for just enjoying each other in life has come. And although, we are sad that Dominion is, it's what's needed, and we knew it was going to happen. I mean, we knew Apostle was global. She had to shut this place down to get what she needed done in order to be obedient with God. We just knew. So thank you. Let me think about what I'm gonna say before I say it.
Hey y'all. What was the question again? Okay, the highs was my mom removed us from our church, and that was very traumatizing because we went from a big church to a trap house. I'm sorry. So yeah, but it was it was worth it. Like, we did meet some good people. Some good times I had. Oh, deliverance, Lord Jesus, deliverance. I was like, what in the world? Because we didn't do that at our church. So I was like, they are here rolling on the floor, coughing up phlegm. I'm like, this is a little bit too much for me and my 11-year-old self. Honestly. But, we had some good times. Of course, Pastor William just putting olives and pepperonis and Alfredo sauce on the pizzas. I'm never going to live it down. Some of the lows, I mean, nothing really had to do with me, mostly like my family division, of course, just, through the grapevine. But other than that, yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity to pour into the moments, us staying at your house. And that's too much information. So yeah, just grateful for the years of prophetic words, correction and love, that's for sure. Yes. Ate me up. Um, but yes, yeah, like I said, I knew Apostle, it was time to go. I was like, well, it's about time. So yeah, I'm ready for you to retire. Pastor William, it was time, long overdue. So yeah. So oh yeah, I'm grateful for the journey, and all you guys' endeavors. Apostle Will, doing your thing. Amen. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. You guys have a good one. I'm giving it to my sister now. Yeah. Right.
Um, I guess I want to thank you for standing 10 toes down in this. Because I definitely would have been gone. We came here when I was, 14? I'm 27 now. So I definitely want to thank you for the times you poured into us, corrected us. Apostle said, tell God you sorry. In front of the whole church. But poured into us, corrected us, opened your house to multiple people while Pastor Wayne was working a job the whole time and coming in every Sunday and going to sleep. But no, I just want to thank you for just being unapologetically you. And I think a lot of times, like you said, we have put you on that pedestal. And it's like when you did one wrong thing, it was like, not my apostle. Like, she could never do something like that. So I definitely had to apologize to God for that one. For, forgetting that you're human too. So I just want to thank you and for everybody else that poured into my life and for Dominion. And this is very like a sad time for me because I can't find this nowhere else. I'm serious. That's not even a joke. It's hard. Now I was telling my mom, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, she gonna have to do some physical. We gonna have to rent out a hotel, some type of in-person stuff because you can't find this nowhere else. Like, I can't. People weird. And now, like, this is like one of the only churches like I've ever sown my money into, probably will ever sow my money into, just because you made it a safe place, and an open place, a place and we can trust in people, even though it was a lot of mess going on. It was still like solid ground, a solid foundation. So thank you and thank everybody. Yeah.
Apostle text. Girl, they was texting us. Yeah, we was going back and forth in the messages, but where I'm gonna start at? I remember when I first got here, I didn't know where I was getting myself into. Okay, because Maggie just told me to come to church. The only people I knew was Briante, and you just looked at me and was like, "You're a leader," and I was trying to figure out who you was talking to the whole time. Because, I had a lot of eyes on me. Alea was one of them. It was a lot going on. This is one of I think this is the only church. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm cold, so I'm shaking. But this is like the only church I've actually been involved in. So to see me definitely grow is definitely big for me. Even sometimes I don't see it, but even me singing and writing songs, and I'm like, oh, dang, Jazz, you can do this. So even going to other churches, I remember my first outing. I don't remember if it was like in BA or anything like that. I don't know. It was just me and you. And you was like, I need you to sing. And I'm like, well, where's mom? Because I can't do this without her. And you was like, no, you got this. And we had like one drum and a broken keyboard. And this is my first time singing. And I'm like, oh, this is about to be terrible. And of course, you started off the song. So I'm like, this is really not going to go good. But thank you for your prayers, because we pressed through. And that was amazing, because even afterwards, like, I still have videos of, like, even when we had the true worshipers come and the big, I was all like, it's really big that we can change, basically, not the world, but we definitely is, because people still come to me like, I remember when you threw this in. I'm like, well, thank you for coming to church, because that's the only way they would come to church. So I don't really didn't have any problems in here, so I liked everybody. Everybody liked me. So that was good. I'm definitely going to miss you guys. But I know you guys got to go. It's cool, though, because God got bigger plans for us. And I just wish y'all nothing but the best. And do you. Don't stop doing you. And I do want you to rest sometimes, because you're a little hard on yourself. And Pastor, I'm just saying, y'all don't really be chilling. Y'all just be doing a lot. But I'm sorry, y'all do. But yeah, y'all need to relax and take this time to reflect. But we all are gonna miss you. But yeah, I cried when y'all sent out the email. I was like, what? I was in my car too. My grandma was like, you didn't get it? I'm like, I don't got Deacon Linda's email, but I did get it. I was trying to avoid it. I was like, this is not true. Because where am I go? Like Beyonce said, where am I go? I tried to go to one church and I'm just sitting there like, oh, this is so bad. I don't know what I'm gonna do. My spirit ain't right with other churches, so this is a real. I've been delivered on this floor. I was the first person always crying. They like, this girl always falling out every Sunday. Of course, Beyonce telling me that every Sunday I was falling out, but I needed it. Y'all got me through relationships. Remember, Marcus? You hear me? I'm trying to tell you so, but listen, I've been through it, okay? And y'all helped me get through it, so I appreciate you all. Even through my daughter and everything, she got a godmommy, like, So thank you for teaching me to be strong and teaching me to be weak too, because it's okay. So I appreciate it, and prayfully, I see what you see in me real soon, because I was up there like, oh, she over here telling on me. I was like, dang, she could have said that in a message, but it's okay. It's okay, girl. I'm going to get it together. Listen, baby, I'm going to get it. I love y'all. And I don't even know who get the mic next. But she about to be mad.
Oh, y'all gotta give me a minute. So God just laid an action into my heart, and so it's like a soul tray line, and I don't know what's gonna come from it. But He also instructed Apostle and Pastor William to be in the center, and that I just have the action in my head. But as they walked down the middle, God said that everything from throughout the years just to release it, because I feel like you guys are still holding in the bad. People are going to go, they're going to leave, but these that are here today on tonight after our long days and our shifts, these plants that are here, we're going to align ourselves in this place, in this final, you guys, I don't want to say resting destination, whatever, into this place that we're going to water you guys and release you guys, because we can sit here and we have so many countless memories of all that you guys have done. But I just want you guys, as you begin to walk, reminisce over the years. And I know that y'all know I'm a cussing prophet, so it's going to be hella people here on next Sunday. But this time was family time. And this is your portion. And God just laid it on my heart. And I could go on and on and on. And we would be here all night. But you said 9 o'clock. And we're going to be faithful to that. And we're going to release you guys. So even as we're all lined up on the sides, even as the ones who have sorority, come on, Roots. Get up at the top, Roots. Roots. And Deacon and Pastor Stephanie, we're just going to release you guys and water what we have, that all that you guys have given. All that you guys have given, and those who are standing on the side, reach into the deep place, because we know we've all come a long way. And these were the people that stayed faithful to the calling. These are those through the trials and the tribulations, when they wanted to give up, when she wasn't obedient to 4 years ago. These were the ones that stayed the test of time. So we say thank you, even as they walk down. We say thank you for being a servant. We say thank you for being obedient. We stand here, even as we've been through our own trials and tribulations in Dominion. We're honest about it, and we're gonna keep it real, like the girls said. We're gonna keep it real. Take your time with this walk. Don't rush this walk, Pastor William. Don't rush this walk, Apostle. Release it, release it, release it. This portion doesn't need to be live. This is not live for those to watch. This is personal. This is intimate. Release, release. Yeah. The heart, Apostle, the heart, the pain. This is your portion. These are they. We're here to now serve you. We're here now to release you. We're here now to step into this global realm with you. We release you. Oh, yeah. The heartache. You knocked on the door. They didn't answer. But there are those that are thankful that you came to my house. You came to my house. You saved me. I had a picture of Pastor William and Apostle on my mirror in the midst of hell. You saved my life. You never knocked on 11100 Embury Court, but you knocked on my life. And I bless you that you opened the door. Release